Okay, so time for me to spend a few minutes on the Anant initiative, which is something very new that we've started this year. And prior to that, I'll just share two small stories with all of you. Stories which made a lot of difference to me in my life, and I'm sure it's going to make a lot of difference to a lot of people in the days to come. One, of course, goes back to 1978, the day of the black and white television era. And I was watching a TV program in Kolkata, the place from where I come from. And there was an interview of Mother Teresa being shown. And the interviewer was talking to her, trying to find out about the missions of charity and their activities, etc. And then one fine moment, he asked her, Mother, the fact that all your initiatives are funded by donors across the world, and the poor people, they're being served by those donors. I'm sure your poor people and yourself, you're very thankful to all the donors who are giving all the money. She looked at him with a very surprised look and said, you want the poor people to thank the donors? He said, yeah, because they're giving all the donation and the poor people are getting benefited out of it. She said, son, your thought process is completely wrong. It is the donors who should be thankful to the poor because the poor are giving them an opportunity to serve. It was taken aback. I really didn't understand the statement. And I really tried to think through, and then she went on the next statement. She said, each of us, we are all, most of us in this room, if not all of us, are very privileged people. By birth, we are privileged. We could have swapped roles. I could have been in the position of someone else who's underprivileged today, and he could have been standing here. So we are privileged by birth. Because we have an inherent responsibility of sharing and caring and giving back to the society. So from that day, from Mother Teresa, I realized that it's not a question of us feeling great and good and proud about what we do. It's part of our responsibility which we need to execute. And in turn, we need to thank those people who accept our help to give us so that we are able to share and give back to the society to the extent that we can. That was my first learning. It was tremendous. The second learning, of course, this is a story which probably many of you have heard, but left a tremendous impression in my mind again. This priest was walking down the seacoast, and his disciple was following him behind. And every few steps he was bending down, and those starfishes which are being washed to the shore, he was bending down, picking one starfish and throwing it back to the water. And he kept on doing it for some time. The disciple was very surprised, very amused, and finally he couldn't stop himself but to go and ask the priest. He said, Father, what are you trying to do? He said, son, I'm picking up the starfishes and throwing them back into the water so that they survive. The disciple couldn't stop himself laughing and said, Father, there are thousands of shores in this world and there are millions of starfishes being washed to the shore every minute. How many do you think you can save? What difference does it make to the starfishes? So the priest smiled at him, bent down, picked up a starfish, threw it back to the water and said, son, it made a difference to this one. Again, the point I'm trying to make is, very often we get immersed into the quantum of health that we can make. We forget about that part. I mean, we think that, whatever we can do, is that enough? Is it making much of an impact on society? I would request all of us to stop thinking about it. Let us do our bit of the job. If collectively we can do that, and social media is a platform where we have always seen that, the collective power, the community power. If collectively we can do that, it can make a tremendous impact on the society. It is not important how much I'm doing, it's that a little bit that I can, within my limited capability. If I can do that, it has an impact. As simple as helping a blind man cross the road. This is a very simple thing that you and I can do it at any point of time. It doesn't make much of a difference, but it makes a difference to that gentleman who felt that he was scared on a particular day and someone helped him to cross the road. We can spend some time on Sunday morning teaching English to a menial son or daughter, help him grow up in life. Simple things, but we can always do it. So these are two very basic learnings that I've had. And one fine morning when Mr. Chamaria, the chairman and CMD of Infinity Group, called me and wanted me to be part of the Anant initiative, I knew two things. One, it's going to be a genuine initiative because that's what he's known to be. And two, it's going to be big because he never does anything small, he makes it all large and scalable. And today I'm here for making an appeal to all of you to make this initiative very large and scalable. Prior to that, a few more words I'd like to share. I was attending a CSR initiative a few days back in Kolkata, and there were a lot of speakers, they were speaking a lot of things about the various corporate CSR initiatives were done, which is great to hear. But there was something that I thought I must mention. In my opinion, if you really look back in the last few years, the world has undergone unprecedented changes. There's tremendous greed around us, and there has been a lot of loss of corporate credibility across. People stop believing us. And under such circumstances, it is very important that we learn and try to give back to the society. Otherwise, it's my prediction, and I'm sure many of you would agree, this digital divide is going to go bigger and bigger. The haves and the have-nots, the gap will carry on getting bigger and bigger. And a day is not far off when the society, or Mother Earth for that matter, is going to take its own revenge on us. In our own interest, in our own initiative, it's important that we stand back and we start sharing with the society and do not get confined within our unprecedented greed all the time. And again, for the corporate people who are the ROI-dominated decision makers, let me also tell you that by each of these social initiatives, if you really look at it from a collective point of view, it actually helps in our business plan also. There is 66 crores of people in this country who are poor. If we are able to help them come up in life, educate them, feed them, take care of their health, they can each become a consumer of ours. They're going to buy shirts, they're going to buy computers, they're going to buy cars, they're going to visit movie theaters, they're going to go to the restaurants, so they all become consumers for ourselves. So collectively, the corporates gain in the long run, and it's like adding to United States population and into your consumer base. So look at the opportunity that you have in front of us. I can see that in the room. India has become global name because of you guys. IT has brought us into the map, and today everybody is considering looking at us very seriously as one of the major superpowers. But at the same time, look at certain statistics which actually makes our head, bow down in shame at times. So at the same time, it's something that we need to collectively do something and to help the country. We have millions of child labor who are deprived of education every time. 55% of the country's population are living in poverty. 40% of the world's malnourished children are in India. 35% of the population are illiterate. 15% go to high school and only 7% graduate. Well, the numbers are astounding and makes us feel sorry about the state of the affair. At the same time, let me tell you, each of it is an opportunity. If you really look at it from a different point of view, I remember some large industry said many years back in a television interview, that India is not a problem of 1 billion. It's not a country of a 1 billion problem. It's a country of a 1 billion opportunity. So look at these numbers. If you can turn this number around and make them come up in line, look at the market that we can create internally. We looked at the entire Indian scenario, and I thank our chairman for thinking this way. He said, to eliminate poverty, education is the strongest tool. And I could agree more to them. With this objective, the Anand Education Initiative was born. About the Anand Initiative, Anand is the CSR initiative of the Infinity Group. We are talking about empowering education and eliminating poverty in the process. So we are firm conviction that if you can empower education, you can actually eliminate poverty. And that possibly is the best solution the country needs today. I'll quickly share with you the mission and vision of this initiative. Our mission is to help meritorious students who are economically underprivileged to come up in life and do well, and we are going to help them in their education. And our vision is to empower education, eliminate poverty, promote education culture at all around development so that he develops as a perfect citizen of the country. And we do not look into any kind of caste, creed, faith or race. It's irrespective of all that. I'll share the concept and the dream. We're actually planning to provide scholarships to meritorious students so that they can create a career for themselves after they've completed the high school. Although, let me tell you, this is the first year where we thought of doing it after they passed out their class 12. But next year onwards, we aspire to extend it from class 10 onwards. So anybody who's passed out class 10, we would like to look into his scholarship opportunity. And we are going to create educational infrastructure for imparting higher education, but in the process, it's not only giving scholarship. We want that person to be trained, if necessary, on vocational platform, because many of these are from underprivileged families and they are under tremendous pressure to earn money quickly. And many of them cannot make it to the final cut, like many of you have done. So they need an alternative source of revenue, an alternative career path, and we have a vocational opportunity. We are trying to tie up with the National Skill Development Corporation, and in the process, we impart vocational training to these students. And we also have motivational workshops, which we want so that they have their personality and their lifestyle can be also, guided in the proper way so that they become perfect citizens of the country. A lot of value-oriented training we also try to impart, things, ethical things. I can tell you, when this interview was being done, I'll just share some statistics and then I'll share some experience of the interviews that we have taken to these people. But this year, when we came up with an advertisement, and this was essentially done within Kolkata and its periphery areas, because this was the first year we wanted to do it on a smaller geographical area to find out whether to perfect the model so the next year we can do it better. And with the advertisements and when we approached the schools, 1261 applications had come, out of which we shortlisted 252 students. Our target was 50% male and 50% female. However, the numbers we could achieve is 1:1 female and 131 male. Not very far off, but nearby. I'm sure next year we could achieve that number. And we're trying to give them a scholarship of 6,000 rupees per annum. What we're doing is, since in the graduation, we're committing a 3-year graduation scholarship of 6,000 each for the next 3 years. We push 500 rupees in their bank account on the first day of the month. We have made each of them open a bank account so that the entire fund can be monitored and electronically transferred, because many of them stay in remote areas and it will not be easy for us to transmit checks or things like that for them. And apart from that 500 rupees that we're giving them to the bank account, for which the money is being given to them for their tuition fees, for buying books, for giving school fees and exam fees, and of course some of them need to buy a cycle to travel to their school, so it's money for them. But we really do not keep a track of the money. After giving it on the first of the month, our objective of monitoring is not the money, we monitor their career progression. So if they do not do well in their academics, we have the right to stop giving their scholarship in the next year. They all are aware of that one of the guiding factors is they have to carry on doing well in their in their academics so that we can carry on our commitment of 6,000 a month. Additionally, we are spending about 4,000 to 6,000 rupees more for their soft skill and other training that we are imparting through various courses. We are calling speakers, we are hiring places, so it has its own expenses. Plus the entire monitoring mechanism has its own expenses. If you look at the first picture was the interviews that we had taken them, and I can tell you that it was an eye-opener for all of us. All my colleagues, we in turn were part of this interview process, including our chairman. Even he was there with it, in many of those interview processes. And each of those students was a story which I think none of us can ever forget. A story which made us feel at any point of time how privileged we are compared to those people. I remember an auto wala's son. He wants to be, his role model is our ex-president Abdul Kalam, and he wants to be, be a scientist. Then we have people who have got amazing marks. There was one guy, I still cannot forget him. He got 99% in exams and in maths. He got an IIT, but he couldn't pursue because he didn't have money to do that. So, and the kind of value system they have exhibited, the kind of point they were trying to make, the kind of objective they have in life, the kind of career ambition they have, the kind of love they have for the country, and things they want to give back to the country is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, if I could have shown, if time permitted, I could have shown some of those interviews, you would have understood what material this country has and what future we have in days to come. Look at the second picture. Our scholarship started from 11 o'clock. We called them at 9 o'clock so that we could hand over the bank kits in which the bank account was open. People landed up from 6 o'clock in the morning. And when we inquired, we found out that some of them have traveled the night before to come to the venue. And there's a place called Sundarban in West Bengal, which some of you may be aware. People have to cross a couple of rivers, take a boat, and walk through the dead of the night to reach the venue to collect 500 rupees of scholarship. That's our country. Sorry state, but that's the potential. That's the kind of dedication that we have in our country, and I'm very proud of it. Few pictures of the merit scholarship that was disbursed on August 30, 2011 this year. This picture is something very close to our heart, because what we did was, we called all those scholars on the stage and we made them take one pledge. And the pledges, after they pass out, they graduate and they take up a job and start earning, each of them are going to support one another scholar. And each of them are promised. So in the process, 252 becomes 504 3 years later. 504 becomes 1008 3 years later. And the number will keep multiplying. And they are each going to be a brand ambassador and going to create a community that not only we, the country, will be proud of. We have made a pledge in this cause, and you need to know that. We started, like people say, charity begins at home. We started with our own initiative. First year, 252 scholars were all given by the Infinity Group. The entire money has been funded by them. And next year, the group pledges 500 students. Thereafter, 750, 1,000, and 1,250. That's our pledge. But we don't stop there. And as I told you at the very beginning, our chairman has grand ideas and scalable ideas. So we want to make it much larger, and that's why we're here, appealing to all of you. Our target for year one was actually 200, which we surpassed by 52 students and made it 252. But next year we want to hit 2,000. Thereafter 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, and 100,000. And one of the immediate objectives we are trying to do is go out and appeal to people to be part of this entire movement. And one of our primary target area would be the IT companies across this country. In a very simple thumb rule number, 2.5 million proud IT professionals we have in this country. So even if 1% of that feels for Anand and spares some money, it's 25,000 people. So there can be 25,000 meritorious, bright boys and girls who can be the future of this country. Now, there's something unique in our donation and collaboration, and that's what I need to share so that you get a clarity of what we're trying to do. We are requesting donation of 500 rupees or more per month. The more the merrier. The entire money as of now will be given to the scholars. In other words, the back office expenses and administrative expenses will be absorbed by the Infinity Group till we reach a stage where we cannot absorb it anymore. If the movement becomes too big, there are hundreds and thousands of scholars and probably we'll have to say, well, thank you very much, the movement has gathered this momentum, now it needs to be self-sustaining. Till that time, the entire money goes for the donation, and we take over the entire administrative expenses and back office expenses. And the other point we're trying to make is there are many initiatives amongst you outside, there are trusts, there are NGOs who are already having certain similar plan. Well, we would like to collaborate with them. We want them to come forward and join us. They can use our platform, or if they have their own, it's fine. We can help them identify the students. If they want to do on their own, they're fine. We can help them match the students and push the money to the students' account. And we can allow them to use their name. So it will be an Anand Scholar supported by XYZ. So the entire credit to the company or the trust remains intact. We do not affect that at all. But we offer our entire support and services so that the movement gathers dust, gathers momentum. There are more and more people who can be supported in the process. Our name is not important. What is important is we need more people to join the entire movement. He's good in guitar. He can probably play that and entertain us on 24th December evening. It's possible. We are trying for career counseling. All need not be XYZ. They can have their own strengths and weaknesses. We can guide them and help them to do what they want to do in life. We are trying for soft skill and vocational skill enhancements, which I've already mentioned. Personality development, training and placement. There are days not far off when using our platform, we will access all the corporates and tell them, come over, match your students, because we'll have the listing of the students who have passed out with their skill sets, and we can help them match and get them jobs, because that's where you actually complete the cycle. It's not only the training, but actually making them find a job so that they can start earning. We also encourage entrepreneurship. If there's a bright student who's got a bright idea, we are there to incubate and help him out, of course, within our limited means. But in the process, we want and encourage entrepreneurship so that they in turn can be employers and have a multiplier effect once again. Last but not the least, it's important that we teach our students the three things: giving, sharing, and contributing. It's important that they learn to give, share, and contribute so that they develop as the perfect citizen of the country. So here is an appeal to us. We seek your support and guidance. We would love to collaborate with you. Tell us how, and we can extend our arm and we can definitely make that happen. We like to multiply the numbers. To multiply the numbers, we need community to be formed. We would like to make it a national movement. Like this morning, Mr. Chamaria mentioned that, I suddenly realized that $1,000 over a period of 3 to 4 years can actually change the life of a student. It's not a very big money, that too over a period of 3 to 4 years. We look at the impact it can have. Amazing impact it can have.